Just 4 months back, the price of diesel was hiked by a steep 5 rupees per litre. For the past 4 years, an annual hike of rupees 4 has been the trend. And now experts see a 5 to 7 rupee hike on an annual basis. The government may sugarcoat it, but by giving oil firms a license for small staggered hikes in prices of diesel, they've made sure a cascading effect will take place which will impact your budget. The price of diesel dictates the price of thousands of commodities and items essential to the Aam Aadmi, to industry and to the economy itself. No wonder it was a day of very angry reactions.
Government took from one hand what it gave from another. In a surprise move, the government decided to increase the cap on subsidized LPG cylinders, but also let bleeding oil companies decide the retail price of diesel from now on.
Diesel is concerned, the OMCs, that the marketing companies, have been authorized to make from price corrections from time to time.
The move is being seen as a reform measure that will greatly reduce the fiscal burden on the government. It will also boost the sagging bottom lines of oil companies that have been posting losses because of the heavy subsidy on diesel. But even as the government tries to justify its decision, the opposition parties are not buying it.
The question is, by diesel, we are under recoveries more than 96,000 crores. Where do you find the money? Import of crude is more than 80% in this country, and it is going up. Ultimately, somewhere we have to run the country. The economy of the country will have to run.
उसे अपने फिस्कल डेफिसिट की चिंता है, कंपनियों के डेफिसिट की चिंता है, लेकिन इस देश की जनता के जेब की डेफिसिट, उसके खाते की चिंता इस गवर्नमेंट को नहीं है.
We think it's a retrograde step, anti-people, because diesel is a common man's fuel. It is used for public transport, captive power generation and irrigation pump sets. So once you deregulate price of diesel, it will continue to rise like petrol prices.
Oil companies have been losing about 17 rupees per litre on diesel and have been demanding 3 to 4 rupees hike before the 31st of March. But they may not get their wish immediately. Fearing a backlash, the government says increase will be in small measures.
The oil companies have been allowed to make small corrections from time to time. Emphasize the word small corrections from time to time. That, I believe, the Petroleum Ministry has allowed the oil companies. When they will make the small corrections, how much I can't say. So I'm not factoring it. But they've been given the freedom to make small corrections.
The Indian economy runs on diesel. It impacts everything from food inflation to rail fares. However, small critics say the government's decision will have a cascading effect on prices, hitting the common man hard.
You see, the common man is going to be hit like anything, because petrol and diesel prices, they go on jumping around like the Sensex, which jumps around every day in the market. Sometimes you don't know that it will be increased by 20 paise, or it may increase by even 2 rupees, 3 rupees, 4 rupees only. The government gives subsidy, no doubt. Till what extent the government will give subsidy also, we do not know. But the leverage that has been given to these companies to increase or decrease the prices whenever they feel like is hitting the common man. The common man is not ready to take any further hit, because in each and every walk of life, the common man is being tortured.
Well, the government is doing unfair to the people, and regularly the commodities prices are high because of the petrol also, and government has to take some severe steps. Even many political parties also objecting it, but they never bother about all these things. They are doing the same mistakes also. I said it's a mistake.
Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Let's now try and make some sense of the government's decision and what impact this could possibly have on your wallet. I want to go across to my colleague Shiv Arur, who's got some graphics laid out for you which will explain what impact the cabinet's decision will have. Shiv.
Considering the massive blowback that the government is actually seeing over this controversial decision over the country's most politically sensitive fuel, Why are you actually set to pay more for diesel and the consequent impact on diesel? Let's put the government's case first, because this is a big decision. India has a whopping fuel subsidy bill of over 16,000 crore rupees already. Add to that the food subsidy through the public distribution system of another 75,000 crores and another 92,000 crores for fertilizers. Have a look at how the fuel subsidy actually breaks up in the country. Diesel is at a whopping 96,000 crores, LPG at 28,000 crores, and kerosene little above that, 34,000 crores. That's how the fuel subsidy is broken up. And this is why the government's worried, and that's what's forced the decision we've seen today. It's set to miss its fiscal deficit target by about 30,000 crores. That's a huge margin to almost 5.4% of the GDP. Now, if it can squeeze in a quick diesel hike, which is what it has actually done in a staggered manner, over the next 12 months, it can save roughly enough to meet at least those preliminary targets, Rahul.
All right, thank you very much, Shiv. I want to go across now to Union Petroleum Minister Veerappa Moily. He's joining us on this broadcast. Thank you very much, Mr. Moily, for joining us. The opposition, and we've been speaking to several people in the opposition, they're alleging that the government has increased the prices of diesel by stealth. The government should have come out and been open about it. What they've done is actually allow diesel prices to be increased through the back door. How do you respond to this opposition charge, Mr. Moily?
That I don't think, once they understand things, they will definitely appreciate this. They should also know that we cannot fool the country, with the 96,000 crore subsidy on the diesel and more than 80% import of crude oil. And, do you want the companies to run or close down the doors? That is the choice which you will have to make at particular time. And, ultimately we need to take some decision, and that is how, we have said what decision we have taken. In fact, it is 2010 the deregulation decision was taken, but we have not implemented it. And ultimately we have taken a decision in the Cabinet Committee on Political Affairs that they can go in for a small correction in prices in the course of time. This is the decision we have taken.
Now, on the one hand, you've got the opposition angry and the Aam Aadmi concerned, and on the other, you've got economists bewildered. They're saying that this is a neither here nor there decision. They say that the price of diesel actually needs to be increased significantly and very quickly to bring the fiscal deficit under control and to take care of diesel subsidies. They're saying that oil marketing companies are bleeding badly and that this shouldn't be little by little, bit by bit. Oil marketing companies should be given a free hand. They're also saying that your decision is neither here nor there.
I think economists, if they go through the report of the Vijay Kelkar, and who is a reputed person to, who considered all aspects and gave a report, I think, they will definitely appreciate. But ultimately, they should have, economists particularly should have appreciated that instead of government taking their decision, asking the oil companies to take a decision is a good progressive step. They should understand that. And these are all the things which were pending since very long time without taking decision. At least they should appreciate that in the best interest of the companies and the oil companies and the economy of this country, we have taken, we have definitely broken the ice, and to run the company, so that they can be run, at least on the scale of economy.
Mr. Moily, you're quoting from the Vijay Kelkar committee report. That report also says that by 2014-2015, the price of diesel should be completely deregulated, by the end of the fiscal of 14-15. Which essentially means that as of now, there's a 9.60 rupee differential between international price of diesel and the domestic price. So are you indicating that over the next about 24 months, the price of diesel will go up by about 10 rupees?
I think for this, once we have said that it is for the oil companies to go in for a small increase, I think you should appreciate and wait for the decision of the respective oil company.
But there has to be a larger game plan, Mr. Moily. If you're referring to the Vijay Kelkar committee report, and that's the government's game plan, which means that in the next 24 months, the price of diesel will continuously be increased, bit by bit, little by little, but you'll take it up to international prices. That's your plan. You must admit it.
No, no, I am not. I see. It's not a question. On the basis of the Vijay Kelkar report, and also considering the aspects of the consumers, and also the welfare of the consumers and the middlemen, we have taken this decision. And I think the right thing for you to make this comment. Once companies determine the price.
India is a diesel economy, especially when it comes to transportation. The common man watching this broadcast would be hugely concerned because of the spiral impact your decision might have. The price of food, commodities, the price of vegetables, several prices could go up as a consequence of diesel prices being deregulated, which is why the government was holding back. Now that you've done it, already the common man is impacted by inflation. That will go up significantly now.
No, I think better you wait for the decision to be implemented.
No, but it's a legitimate concern,
I can't go for any comments now.
No, Mr. Moily, it's a legitimate concern. We are a diesel economy. Your decision will have a spiral impact on the Aam Aadmi. That's a fact.
No, we have taken into consideration of all the legitimate concerns.
The Vijay Kelkar committee also talks about kerosene, LPG prices, deregulating them, bringing them in line with market forces. So are you then saying that after deregulating the price of diesel, that kerosene and LPG are next, and viewers and citizens, voters should now brace for a possible kerosene LPG price hike as well?
No, we'll have to reconcile and balance between the Aam Aadmi, the consumers, the Indian economy, and also the oil companies. Take, government in power with all sense of responsibility. We'll have to take into consideration all these aspects, and we must have a holistic approach, not one-sided approach.
That doesn't explain the question. You're also basically indicating that there could be political compulsions at play. This was the easier bullet to bite when it comes to diesel subsidy when compared with LPG and kerosene. That's a far tougher thing to do heading into the election cycle. But one thing that I've been very curious about, Mr. Moily, since the morning when the story broke, is the timing of this decision. This happens a day before the Chintin Shivir begins in Jaipur. That's where all the Congress workers meet the leaders. Several people wondering, why is this time just a day before the Chintin Shivir? If this had been done later, maybe there would have been a lesser backlash. Aren't you risking Congress workers coming against the leadership and saying, why are you taking these anti-people measures?
There is no, as far as the kerosene is concerned, there will not be any increase in prices.
Okay.
And insofar as the LPG is concerned, we have increased the number from 6 to 9, and there is no increase in prices.
Okay, so you're indicating that for kerosene there will be no increase in price, for LPG there will be no increase in price. But what about the Chintin Shivir? If you answer that question, the fact that the Chintin Shivir is happening from tomorrow, aren't you concerned that Congress workers will be agitated? They were already very agitated about the cap on LPG cylinders, which you had to push up from 6 to 9. Now, with the timing just a day before the Congress conclave begins, people will be concerned, and that's an issue the Congress leadership will have to deal with.
How do you, construe that it is an anti-people decision? Maybe that, if by closing down the oil companies, do you think that it's an anti or for? The question is, choice is left between that.
Okay, you're saying closing down oil companies is the only alternative. The government had to bite the bullet, and the fact also is that for so long, the diesel subsidy has been misused by fat cats who own SUVs, who can afford to pay market prices for diesel. Because of the disparity between the price of diesel and the price of petrol, the sales for diesel cars have been going up, and a large part of the subsidy is actually misused by people who can actually afford to pay market prices for diesel. So in that sense, the government has taken a step in the right direction, even though the BJP and the left are very worked up, and the common man, of course, is concerned about the impact this will have. That's all I have time for on Center Stage tonight. Thank you very much for tuning in.